When we make the commitment to lean into feeling good, we can even be going through those dark times and still have fun along the way.
Gabrielle Bernstein, a role model for spiritual seekers.
And as many of you know, if you've been reading my books or watching my talks, you know that it took me 3 years to conceive my son. And in that time, I went through a lot of discomfort. I went through a lot of shaming of myself, feeling separate, alone, not good enough. Why isn't my body working? Why can't I have this thing that I so long for? Feeling jealousy every time I'd go on social media and see other women with their babies and their bumps and the whole thing, and feeling that separation deeply. But even while I felt that separation, I also had some wild moments of synchronicity and tremendous guidance along the way, the most incredible guidance along the way. And that guidance began to really kick up in the fall of 2017. And I live most of the time in the countryside, so I do a lot of my manifesting when I'm driving, especially when it's this season and the foliage is out and it's just like epic yellow and orange and red and pink and it's just unbelievable colors and I just drive. And so I drive up these roads and no one's around and I'm looking to the right and I'm looking to the left and I'm feeling that energy of this beautiful foliage. I'm feeling this greatness and this gratitude and this appreciation for being able to live in a community like this. I'm listening to my mantra music and I'm just driving and enjoying and feeling good and feeling good and feeling good. When all of a sudden, I have this sense that there's a baby in the backseat. And I start to feel the presence of a child in the backseat of my car. And tears start to well up in my eyes, and I start to feel so connected to this experience. When all of a sudden I hear this inner voice say to me, "The baby is coming in March." And I was like, whoa, March, okay, March is pretty soon. I'll take March. All right, I could do that. I start doing the math and looking at my schedule. Okay, March could work for me. Yes. And then I start to really see myself getting into that whole hook of oh my God, now it's gonna happen. So I said, okay, universe, you know what, universe? If this is indeed the path, show me a sign. And I want you to show me a sign of lilies, if this is indeed the path for me. So I let go and I allow. A week later, I get this letter in the mail, and the letter has this beautiful angel card inside of it. And it's an angel card with an image of Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is typically depicted holding lilies. And in this case, he was. I turn over the card and the reader that had sent me this gift, it was a lovely spirit junkie out there, sent me this gift. And he said, "I don't know why, Gabby, but I thought this was for you." And I was like, "Yeah, man, it is. Thank you." I got some lilies, okay. And then I continue on and I'm getting closer to March and I'm feeling March coming around and I'm like, March, my baby's coming in March, right? Feeling it. And March rolls around and it's early March and I'm not pregnant. And so here I was again, really in that desperation, in that sadness, in that discomfort, in that shame. And it was worse this time because this time I was really relying on the universe. And I believed that I was being guided. So I sat on my husband's lap in his office and I started crying in his arms and just really let it out, just let it all out and just kept saying, why isn't it happening? Why can't we have a baby? What's wrong with me? When all of a sudden my phone that was sitting on his desk starts playing a song out of nowhere. And you know when your electronics do weird things and you just grab them and you're like, whatever, you just turn it off and you're like, that's weird. So I went to go turn off the phone when I look closer and I start to hear the lyrics of the song. Way go Lily, way go Lily. I look even closer and I look at the name of the song and the name of the song is Way Go Lily. And the singer keeps repeating it, way go Lily, over and over and over. I look even further and I look at the phone and I notice that the album title is called I See the Sign. You can't make this up, people. You can't make it up. So I'm like, okay, universe, thank you. I got the message. At which point I stopped crying and I started letting tears of joy move through me. And I said, okay, you know what? Zach, let's let this go. Universe, I let this go. Whatever timing it is, I know I'm being guided. I feel that guidance so closely. Just show me what you got. April rolls around and I was pregnant. And then I did the math, and I started to figure out what day did I conceive? I conceived the last day of March. This experience of having a divine connection to the universe and receiving guidance and receiving messages and receiving wisdom and moving in that way and feeling directed and guided and certain no matter what, even when things aren't working out for you, you trust that you are in the right direction, you're on the right path because you have a certainty and a knowing that the universe has your back. That's what it means to be a super attractor. And a lot of people, I've been doing all these interviews, and every time I sit down for an interview, somebody's like, what does it mean to be a super attractor? And I respond by saying, it means that you're committed to feeling good. And the next question they ask me is, why did you write this book? And I say, because I wanted to feel good. And it felt so good to write this book. I wrote this book while I was pregnant with my son. And I was birthing this human and this book at the same time. It was epic. And I just had this amazing experience and this momentum and this energy. And I know that you can feel it. Who's reading the book? Who's got the book? Somebody even wrote to me on Instagram. They were like, I can feel like I'm surrounded by your womb. And I was like, you kind of are. Because that's the energy I was in when I wrote this. And so we have these moments in our life where we're just ready to feel good. But as we know, we all experience a lot of suffering. We all experience suffering. We all have very difficult things that happen in life. We have addictions. We have health issues. We have financial struggles. We have depression. We have stuff. And that is real. But when we make the commitment to lean into feeling good, we can even be going through those dark times and still have fun along the way. And so that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And remind ourselves that it's good to feel good. Are you with me on that? It's good to feel good. It's good to feel good. Take that in and own that and feel that and make that your mantra and repeat it and believe it. And the thing is, guys, we're all super attractors. Every one of us in this room, every being in the world is a super attractor, but many of us just forgot. And so when we forget that we're a super attractor, we're pretty much doing all the things that are the opposite of being in alignment with our super attractor energy, and we block it. And I actually did this thing where I surveyed my Instagram audience and I asked them, how many of you feel as though you're blocking your manifesting power? 96% said yes. Who in this room feels like you're blocking your manifesting power? Yeah, I can kind of see you. Yes, everybody's hands are up. Okay, thank you. So if you feel that feeling of you're blocking your manifesting power, let's begin by calling that out and getting super clear about what's up, okay? What is up with that? There's one big way that we block our manifesting power, particularly those of us in these spiritual rooms. And this is what I call the manic manifester. And you're gonna know right away if this is you. This is the person who is like, oh my God, Gabby, I'm reading all the books and I'm like doing all the meditations and I'm like mantras, and I'm like feeling really good, but I'm just not attracting what I want. Do you know who you are? I can only see the front row, but there were some honest people here. Yes, okay, good. So that manic energy, is that sexy? No. Absolutely not. It's not sexy, it's not drawing you towards it, it's deflecting you. So it's the same way we're deflecting the love and the support of the universe when we're in that manic state of having to make it happen and forcing it to happen and trying to control the circumstances. That's that manic state that keeps us stuck, okay? So we're gonna work on that tonight. Okay. And then there's the pusher. The pusher is the person who believes that if I don't make it happen, it will never happen. Pushers in the house? Yeah. If I'm not forcing it into being, then it will not be. This is the opposite of a super attractor energy. This is an energy that is forceful, that is pushy, that is frantic, that is chaotic, that's probably making lots of mistakes and forcing and trying to make it happen. And also, this is an energy of someone who feels very alone because they don't recognize that there is support around them and they don't allow that support into their life. And I know this intimately because I am a former pusher. Not anymore. Now I'm a chiller. Then there's a big one, which is the judger. I wrote a book for you. When we're judging and comparing and separating ourselves from others, ultimately what we're doing is turning our back on the universe, turning our back on God, turning our back on the real truth, which is that we are interconnected, that we are love. And whenever we're judging, we're just judging somebody because we are not recognizing a disowned part of our own shadow. So in that place of judgment, we feel what, guys? What do you feel? What do you feel? Guilt, lonely, shame, separation, low energy, sad, uncomfortable. That energy of separation, low vibe, guilt, that doesn't feel good, right? And we now know that being a super attractor means that we are devoted to feeling good. And in that place of not feeling good, we are deflecting our super attractor power. Everybody with me. If you judgers in the house, raise your hands. Judgment detox. I wrote it for you. May want to even read it before you read this one. And then the final one is fear. And this is in all the ways we block, but this is some of the biggest ways. And fear, I mean, everybody in this room is holding on to fear of some kind. Fear, uncertainty, ways that we stay small, not feeling good enough, feeling like fear in many cases is just running the show. And so we have to begin to undo our relationship with fear tonight and through the journey of this book so that we can reframe that fear one step at a time. And we're going to begin right now to reframe, undo, and establish a new pattern instead of the pattern of fear. Are you ready for that? This is the most important step throughout the book, and it comes up throughout the book many times. And it's a method called the choose again method. And this is a method that allows you to be in this constant dialogue with your fear, with your negativity, but not in a bad way, in a really valuable, important, and life-transforming way. So the first step is going to require that you start to pay attention to the negative thoughts and the ones that you particularly have on repeat. You all know what they are. Don't pretend like you don't. So first step, noticing that fear-based thought is there. And then noticing how it makes you feel. Then the second step is to forgive yourself for having the thought. And this is a big one because often when we forgive ourselves for having that fearful thought, what we do is we recognize that we are not that story. We are not that thought. The forgiveness dissolves the thought. You can also just forgive the thought altogether. If you're feeling like, I can't forgive myself. I'm not there yet, Gabby. Forgive the thought. Just forgive the thought altogether. Then the third step is to choose again. Choosing again is a simple step, but it is quite profound and it requires our commitment and our desire to feel better. And when we choose again, what's simply happening is we're reaching for the next best feeling thought. And this is a really important message that I learned from Abraham Hicks, who are mentioned 23 times in this book, and I'm so grateful for their beautiful work that has inspired so much of this book. Yep. Choose again. Reach for that next best feeling thought. And then once you feel a little bit better, reach for another next best feeling thought. And then when you feel a little bit better, reach for the next best feeling thought. Just backstage, I'm like, wow, I really booked myself so seriously this week. And I'm feeling like, whoa, tonight, and then tomorrow, all day tomorrow, and then on a plane, and then I go to a talk that night, and I was like, what did I do? And I started getting really in it and just upset about it. And then I was like, slow down, sister. Step one. Notice the thought. and feel it. How does it make me feel? It makes me feel depleted and tired and already just completely disconnected. So I forgave the thought in step 2, and most importantly, forgave myself for going back into the old pattern and said, okay, we did it again, let's just relax. And then I chose again, and I said, Gabby, you have 1,400 people coming to see you tonight in Los Angeles, and they're so pumped to hear what you have to say. You are fucking blessed, woman. And you have an opportunity to serve, and you have an opportunity to feel lit up by the work that you know is true and the work that healed you, and be a transmission for this group tonight. And tomorrow you have amazing opportunities ahead of you. So I keep reaching. See what I'm reaching? And you have amazing opportunities ahead of you. And don't complain about having opportunity. And you know what? If you need to take a nap, you'll take a nap in the Uber. And you'll get a clean Uber, so that you can really nap without it smelling bad. You with me, people? You see how I just reached my way out? And I had to do that in order to come out here tonight and not feel depleted and not feel down. Just be present and be fully present with you. So we can get into the habit of choosing again. If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.